speeds, just like we're seeing now, but that's not slowing this driver down. Those ground units backing off a little bit now, leaving the workload to that air units. We're hard on the brakes now. Maybe we're coming up on some traffic, and you can see they're just jumping into that HOV lane to miss those slower cars. Those cars look like they're going slow, Mike and Cher, but those are going at 65, 70 miles an hour, the normal speed of traffic. You can see the speedometer on your screen now at 115 miles an hour, and that's just amazing with the damage to the front of this vehicle. When this suspect vehicle hits that that vehicle going through an intersection, it looked like it damaged that front steering system, that the tires were actually stuck on the bumper, and it was actually smoking and having issues driving. But now we're on the freeways, on those straightaways, and it doesn't seem to be an issue at all, which is kind of amazing. We're going to just pull out to a wider shot, see if we still see those highway patrol units keeping up. Now, this is a Dodge Charger. The California Highway Patrol, for the most part, is driving the same vehicle, so they do have the capability to keep up with this vehicle at these speeds. But in situations like this, what do you do to stop a pursuit at these high rates of speeds? Well, one, you can't do much. You can't. It can be difficult to get a spike strip ahead of it just due to the speeds and having to plan ahead for that. Pit maneuvers are really tough at those high rates of speed, as it can cause a lot of damage and actually cause injury to individuals involved in the pursuit at the high rates of speed. But we just saw something just there as we're going under this overpass. We saw a trade-off of the California Highway Patrol between agencies. And that's something the California Highway Patrol has over this suspect. The suspect is only one car with one tank of gas, but the Highway Patrol has officers all over the state here that can jump into this pursuit at any moment and take over for other officers. Say their vehicles are having issues, they need a fresh set of eyes, or just another tank of gas. So California Highway Patrol is not going to give up on this. They didn't give up on it when it was on those side streets. And they are continuing now, and it looks like we're coming up on the 57 interchange from the 60. We'll have to see which way the suspect goes here as we go through this pass here in the Diamond Bar area. Again, wanted for... Center, I want to switch the saddle. Okay, Craig. That's right. That is a concern, especially with that damage to the front of the vehicle. But now another concern is the vehicle's driving blacked out. We don't see any headlights, and we're just seeing those taillights now, but that's probably because the suspect has their foot on the brake as we come up to some slower traffic. We're northbound 57 right now, coming up on Temple here in the area of Pomona. And California Highway Patrol still sticking on the tail of the suspect. They have an airship overhead that's notifying units ahead, as well as other offices of the California Highway Patrol. But at this point, it's just a waiting game of getting the suspect to slow down, run out of gas, or get off the freeway so they can use some other tactics. But at these speeds, it seems like this is going to be making its way through the Southland at some good pace. Now over to that number 5 lane. It looks like we might be getting off the freeway here, and or transitioning possibly onto the, let's see, possibly the 71 or the 60. We're just here at the 57, exit 21. You can see that on your screen here. And this actually is going to be the 10. And it looks like we're going to be hopping up on the 10 freeway here in Pomona. California Highway Patrol right there saying to that driver of that vehicle, we're not going anywhere, and we will be here through the end of the the pursuit until you stop. And now it looks like we're going to be going eastbound 10 through the 57 interchange and the 71 right here at the Kellogg Pass, if you're familiar with the area. But with that collision from earlier, as well as the second collision on the on-ramp to the 60 freeway, we don't know the condition of that car. In situations like this, you have the radiator that's right there behind the bumper, and after an impact to the front of the vehicle like that, we don't know if maybe it could be overheating or some other thing could happen to this car that could put it at its end. We're going to show you some footage from that accident earlier as this vehicle was going at high rates of speed northbound Azusa, and did collide with that vehicle going through the intersection, then going into the neighborhood or into the parking lot and kind of spinning out of control without the use of its front tires. But as we continue eastbound, the California Highway Patrol has been handing off to its other agencies, trading out units as they see fit. Air unit from the Sheriff's Department is overhead calling the pursuit for those officers on the ground so that they can focus on specifically that driving in a safe manner, keeping the public safe, because that is the main priority of our officers, is to keep the general public safe. And if that means backing off a little bit, giving the suspect some space so that he or she may slow down. We have seen a drastic change in speed from earlier when we first got over this pursuit at 100+ miles an hour, now into the 60-mile-an-hour range, hugging that number 4 lane, and we continue to slow down. So maybe we're starting to see, Mike and Cher, a problem with that vehicle starting to rear its head, and maybe we are the engine is giving out. We're unsure, but now we're down into the 40-mile-an-hour range, and this is the slowest we've seen this pursuit since it started. Getting off here at White Avenue from the 10 freeway, we'll have to see what happens when we get down into the off the freeway. Earlier, when we first heard the pursuit, the vehicle was racing around in some neighborhoods and lost the ground units for some time, but that air unit staying overhead. Now we are turning left onto what looks like White Avenue, and it possibly slowing down to a stop. We'll see here. My pilot, David Viskovich, doing a great job at maneuvering us around all the different obstacles that comes from the air here, like trees. And we are stopped here. We're going to hold a little bit of wider shot, Mike and Cher, just because in situations where we have a termination or end of a pursuit like this, we never know what may happen. But you can see the Highway Patrol there are out. They are taking their positions of concealment, and they do have their guns drawn. What they're going to be doing at this point is making call-outs to that driver, and if there are any passengers in that vehicle, asking them to step out with their hands up, throw those keys out of the vehicle, and then comply with the order of the officers so that they can be taken into custody in a very safe manner. The last thing we want to do is a suspect running out and charging the officers or anything of that nature. But you can see just how the vehicle is starting to smoke now, and now the time is on the officer's side. The pursuit has come to an end, or at least we hope so. They will start blocking off the streets in the area to prevent any traffic from coming up this street and possibly getting involved in this pursuit. But the good thing about this time of night is that there aren't a lot of people on the roadways, so the officers have the time and the means to be patient with the suspect and get him out of the vehicle and safely take them into custody. We are off White Avenue here in Pomona, just off the 10 freeway, and we will continue to follow this termination of this high-speed pursuit, Mike and Cher. I can't right now. Doors opening. Now we just saw the windows come down, those doors opening, that driver now stepping out of the vehicle, hands above their heads. It looks like we do have a possible female driver here. What they're going to do now is take this situation very slowly, like we were talking about, Mike and Cher, and have that driver step away from the vehicle, and they could do one of two things. Have that driver kneel down and lay on the ground, or just back their way up to those officers and be apprehended. They're having the driver lift their jacket right now just to make sure that they don't see any weapons on that suspect. But with this pursuit, the police and California Highway Patrol have done what they're supposed to and kept the public safe, whether that meant backing off of the pursuit to get the suspect to slow down, re-engaging when that suspect wasn't slowing down and did collide with that vehicle we saw earlier, and now being patient with the termination of this pursuit, asking that driver to back up, back to those arresting officers. They're going to have them go down on the ground, hands above the head, and then that arresting officer will come up and arrest that suspect there. They're going to take their time with this, though. Again, they make sure that the suspect doesn't have any weapons or anything to worry about. But you can see there that the driver now being taken into custody. We haven't heard any information on whether there are any passengers. The airship overhead is going to be doing their best to look inside the windshield and windows of the vehicle with their infrared cameras to see if they see anything inside. And it looks like we do have a passenger in the vehicle, and they are approaching that vehicle now, and they're going to back away now because they don't know the state of that passenger coming out, hands up, facing the officers. So they're going to ask them to turn away and probably do the same routine as they did with that driver. Step back towards the officers in a very controlled manner, and until they take them into custody. Doing something a little different with the passenger here. They're going to have them kneel down, and they will probably approach this passenger rather than having them come to hit them go to the officers. But you can see that approach team ready with the shield as well as their less than lethal options. And then they're going to also cover that arresting officer from any other surprising possible passengers that they weren't expecting. They didn't see that passenger in that front seats, and you saw how they backed off there. But it looks like now with the stance of those officers at the vehicle, they don't see any other possible passengers or dangers to that vehicle, and they are going to be calling this a code for a safe and secure scene here off of White Avenue in Pomona. Thanks. Okay, 2 minutes. And we VO. Okay, sounds good. One minute. Micah shared, this all started in Hacienda Heights, probably around 10:30, with reports of a pursuit of a possible street racer by the California Highway Patrol. The ground units quickly backed out of the pursuit with the air unit overhead because of the high rates of speed and the dangerous driving. However, that didn't stop that driver from driving erratically. We'll show you some footage from earlier. The vehicle speeding its way through intersections blacked out and finally colliding with a vehicle in an intersection on a red light. That suspect vehicle then losing some of the mobility of its front steering system and smoking and spinning as it went through a parking lot just off the 60 freeway at Azusa. It quickly made its way onto the 60 freeway from Azusa and topped out at about 120 miles an hour on the freeway. We were on a high-speed pursuit by the California Highway Patrol, both on the ground and in the area for some time, making its way out here to Pomona, where it slowly came to a stop as it came off the off-ramp of White Avenue here in Pomona. You can see California Highway Patrol then had a traffic stop in progress where they did arrest a driver and a passenger from this vehicle, bringing this pursuit to a safe and a good end here in Pomona. That's the latest over Pomona. I'm Colton Von Pertz. I'll send it back down to you. Oh, thanks.